Welcome back, everyone. This video is going to start a series of really cool installs from a really cool company that we just partnered with, and you're gonna have some good content coming soon. The company is called CavFab 4x4. They make a bunch of different parts for a bunch of different Jeeps, and they make builder parts too. With that being said, the video is sponsored by CavFab, so if you do want to check out any of the products in the video, they are going to be below in the description. In this video, we're going to be installing the front inner fenders for the JL and the JT, and we're going to be installing the rear for the JL. The JL and the JT have different fender liners for the rear, so unfortunately I won't be able to show you the JTs today. As you can see, I did pre-install the passenger one here. I wanted to make sure that my Jeep was compatible with the actual part, not the part compatible with my Jeep. Starting with the tools for the install, you're going to need an electric bit driver, an Allen key set, scissors, small wire cutters, large wire cutters, needle nose pliers, 3/8 crescent wrench, 7/16 crescent wrench, 11mm shallow socket, 11mm deep socket, a razor knife, and some WD-40 to clean it up at the end. Okay, after taking everything out, I'm gonna leave a couple of these brackets in just to show you exactly where the positioning is. I feel it's a little bit easier to see it already put on the Jeep without any of the other stuff than starting from the beginning. So your inner fender should look just like this, other than a couple of wire differences. And of course I have changed my fenders a little bit. So again, it will look a little bit different, but all of the holes and mounting spots are going to be exactly the same. So after taking everything out here on the back side, we're gonna look at removing a couple wire clips. There's gonna be a wire clip right on this hole, and there's gonna be a wire clip up in this hole. This one is much harder to get to, so I do recommend taking your time with it and also grabbing a 7/16 wrench. So grabbing this piece, this is actually gonna sit right inside here. It fits so perfectly, so if it doesn't fit when you're putting it on, something must not be lined up. This is how it should look and how it should fit. All right, so for this hole up here, it's gonna be a little bit trickier. I do recommend having someone else to help you or just giving a lot of patience to this. All right, after tightening this one, we're gonna move down to this location. Same idea, larger bolt, nut. Once you put those two bolts in, that is the complete mounting for this piece here. Moving to the top of the wheel well here, we can see that there's two bolts already placed in here. I left those in so you could see them easier because it is kind of hard and confusing to see which hole. There are tons of them under these fenders. If you do not pop the fenders off, it's going to be the hole that mounts with both clips in the fender right in the center. Pretty easy to find out once you pull it back or at least look up from underneath. Just screw those big bolts in at the top there and you should be using 1, 2, 3, 4 of the larger, longer bolts. Once that's in there, we can move to the next mount, which is right down here. So moving on to the front of the inner fender, you can see that there's a mount right here and it's held on by this nut that's already pre-installed on the Jeep. So if you're looking for it, you'll look for the body mount here, and then right behind it, you'll see that nut. That nut we're going to loosen, pop this mount in, and then retighten down onto the mount. Now I have put together half of this already, so I'm going to show you what parts you need to put together for the main part of the inner fender. When looking at the back side of the inner fender, you can see that there's 4 riv nuts here, which attaches this piece to the main piece with vents. Throw those together, and we're going to work on the vents next. Showing the front of the inner fender, the part that faces out. The vents should be attached from the back side, which means that the head of the bolt goes through the front to give a nice clean look. You also want to make sure that the CavFab logo is lined up so that you have the right side. After putting together the main piece, we are ready to fully install the front passenger inner fender. You're going to simply slide it in. And it will all line up directly where it's supposed to because of how good the fitment is. So you'll just want to double check that all of your holes line up with the riv nuts on the mounts that we pre-installed. And for me, it looks like they line up perfectly, so I'm ready to rock and roll. You can start by hand tightening all of these down, and then that does complete your installation for the front right passenger inner fender liner. Okay, so moving to the rear, this is gonna be a lot more simple than the front, a lot less parts, and they kind of just fit together a little easier to, visually see. So you can kind of see here where the cuts are, they will match up for each piece. So you can slide it right together like that. For this next piece, we're going to be using one of these bent nut strips. This is the larger one that's separated from the smaller ones in the packaging. Right, so picking the main piece back up, I'm going to grab the third piece and that nut strip that I just popped out. We're going to place it right here and put the nut strip on the back side of this. All right, for this next piece, it's a little bit smaller and it's the most pointy one. So that's gonna go in this little corner here. And we're gonna use 2 of these smaller nut strips for this to reinforce the back. Right, so before we do throw this in, I wanted to remind people that we can throw the logo on here and you can put a piece of vinyl behind it if you wanna change the color to match anything on your Jeep. We're gonna start by putting the fender liner up with 1 screw just to hold it in. And start with this top right screw. It may fall back down into place. This is just to hold it for now. For this one, I did put the angle up so that you can see kind of what I'm looking at. If you do look at the rear tire and you look straight up underneath the rear bumper, there's gonna be a little square here. You can take that square and you can line it up with this piece here. This is gonna go in through a slot on the back side of the bumper, and then it slides right into place, bracing it ready for the next piece. This is exactly what you're looking for, this giant opening, and you slide that piece right in there, and then you can line that square up with this square. This piece is pretty simple. You're gonna line it up with the bracket that we just put in and the inner fender liner that's already in the Jeep. This is what you're looking at when you're looking at that last piece we just put in. All right, so looking at the inside of the rear fender well, you can see these bottom 2 holes here. That's where these little aluminum spacers are gonna go, and they're gonna slide up right behind it in between the body and the inner fender just like this, and you'll put a longer bolt through it. So we did just get the Jeep turned around. I am gonna take mine out and throw the new one in. But before I do that, I am gonna put the vents in on the back side, just like we did on the passenger side. Moving to the driver's side, you can see that there are 2 little clips here for this wire harness. We're gonna wanna take both of those out. And once those are pulled out, we can start by putting that same piece on that goes right in this little slot here. All right, next we're gonna go ahead and take these 2 clips out. Sometimes you're gonna have to break them. Some people can get them out. I'm just gonna break them out because we're not gonna use them in the end. All right, now that I've gotten those clips popped out, I'm gonna be putting this mounting piece in. You can see the D, that signifies that it is the driver's side. After we finish that top mount, we're gonna head back to this corner bolt over here. This nut right there is the one that you're gonna wanna loosen so we can put the last mount in. We're gonna start by taking this piece here and we're gonna slide it right underneath of that nut. And it will line up with the body mount here. You'll see it kind of tucks right in. All right, so we're gonna take that center piece now and we're gonna see how that lines up. Looking good, looking good. Okay, so we're gonna take this piece off and we're gonna put the other couple of pieces on the corner and then we'll fully install this thing. I got this side piece put on. We're gonna see the fitment, and then if it all lines up, it is time to go into the Jeep. Man, everything lines up so well. It's really nice. And just like that, those are put in and they look fantastic. We are finishing up this install by ending up with the driver's side rear. I feel like this went kind of quick and it was smooth. All right, so I took the back piece, I added the top and this little corner over here. This corner over here is secured with the biggest bracket, while the piece over here is gonna be secured with the 2 smaller brackets. Screw in that last one, and we are headed to the bumper bracket. Okay, so looking directly up from underneath of the back of the Jeep, we're gonna see that same square that we saw on the other side, and that's where we're gonna put our bracket. Perfect. We're gonna put this bracket on here. Pretty simple, it lines up right with these holes here. We're gonna take this last piece here, and we're gonna slide it right into position here. Let's throw the main piece back in. All right, guys, that does finish up that install from CavFab. It was so simple. The products are made so extremely well that it was easy to go together. Everything just like flawlessly popped together. I barely needed power tools in this project. I have an electric screwdriver and that's it. The fender liners that I did put on this Jeep are located in the description if you want the link. Again, this video was sponsored by CavFab, and I do appreciate them sending this out for us to throw in the Jeep, test, review, and do an install video for. No, but really, that's it, guys. I do appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully you enjoy your new inner fenders.